Well, Stephanie Kiser moved to New York with dreams of becoming a writer. That was until a competitive job market saw her fall into nannying as a second option. But these weren't your average kids. Stephanie found herself looking after the children of Manhattan's rich and famous on the affluent Upper East Side.
From running errands in her boss's Porsche to doing school pickups alongside the world's biggest stars, Stephanie has seen and done it all, and now she's sharing her wildest and most glamorous stories in a new book titled Wanted, Toddler's Personal Assistant. And Stephanie Kiser joins us now live from New York. Hello to you, Stephanie. Thanks for being with us. So you describe your employers as the 1% with quite an exclusive lifestyle. How does one get into nannying for the exclusive 1%?
Well, for me, it was accidental. I got very lucky. I got to New York and I had a job where I was making $14 an hour, and I had all the student debt. And my best friend said, "Oh, why don't you look into babysitting?" And I was thinking I was going to supplement my income, and I just went online, care.com, and fell into nannying for a family on Fifth Ave.
Okay,
and that was that.
I guess you had to go through a rigorous interview process and whatever, so you obviously impressed them. At school pickups, you crossed paths with the likes of Robert De Niro, Steve Martin, Drew Barrymore. What can you tell us about them?
Well, I always say Drew Barrymore was my favorite. She does not know this, obviously, but we were on almost the same schedule for an entire year. Her kids were going to the same ballet class, the same parks, and I never saw her be anything but joyful and kind to every single person she interacted with.
So, Stephanie, was there a particular celeb that you got on well with?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say any of them acknowledged me, but she just was very, very nice. And I didn't encounter any celebrities that were, honestly, they were better than some of just the wealthy people to interact with. So I didn't have any bad experiences with any of them, really.
Yeah, and what about Robert De Niro? We've got pictures of him. He was cool.
Was a bit, yeah, I did say in an interview he seemed a bit grumpy, but not towards anyone, just sort of, maybe tired. I'm not sure, but
just in general.
Yeah, he just might have been generally a little grumpy.
So, give us a bit of a sense of what it was like to work for these ultra wealthy families. You'd expect they would be quite demanding. Is it a difficult world to sort of fit in and be part of?
I was really lucky. I had employers who treated me pretty well, but it's just a different world. People have fully staffed houses. They have chauffeurs. They have people that drive their golf carts around the property if it's too big. They have chefs. They have housekeepers. So it's just it's a different world to be in a house that has so much staff all the time just to keep a family of 4 or 5 running.
Wow. It's actually pretty good, because with all that help, you need to do less, don't you, as the nanny?
And I hear there was a funny story with the car. They said, "Are you quite okay to drive my car?" Which wasn't like a Kia.
It wasn't a Kia. I mean, I am fine to drive cars. I did feel a bit nervous getting in the Porsche for the first time, because my first thought was, oh my God, if I crash it, am I responsible for this? But, and the first time I hit the pedal, it really did go a little faster than any car I'd driven before. But ultimately, yeah, it's every day for them. So it wasn't abnormal for them to be like, do you want to drive the Porsche? Because that's the only cars that they drive.
Fabulous.
Hey, Steph, I'm curious. These sort of ultra-wealthy families sometimes are adamant on, privacy and even NDAs and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to sign those? Have any of them read the book?
No one gave me an NDA. I really don't know why, because my first thing on an interview would be, I want to be a writer. But the families I worked for, I was really close with, and the 2 families I was with the longest both got a copy before it came out. And the second family in particular, even the mom is going to moderate an event in New York in a couple of weeks. So they've been very supportive, which has been very lucky for me.
That's amazing. Your experience sounds a lot like the book and Scarlett Johansson film, The Nanny Diaries. Is that a pretty realistic look into your job?
So I did read the Nanny Diaries when I started my job, and some of it for sure I identified with. I think the main difference for me is that I had to quarantine with the children I nannied for many months during COVID. So it really became more of I lived at work. The family was my family. So I think it's just a little bit more of an intimate version of the Nanny Diaries.
What were the kids like? Were they a punish and like quite demanding, or were they really well
Were they punishing
behaved?
me? You know what? All of them were very different. The last three that I had, the girl was very rambunctious and sassy and definitely kept me on my toes. The middle one was gentle and sweet, and the youngest one was, I had him from the day he was born, so he was just my favorite. He could do no wrong.
Beautiful. So how does it work? Do they give you a credit card? Like for all the expenses and all that sort of thing? Like, do you get your credit card and then so you're allowed to use it however you wish?
Keys to the Porsche and the credit card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. They just, day one, they were like, here is everything. No, I did have a credit card. I never got in trouble, so I think I must have stayed within the realm of what I was supposed to be spending. But yeah, it was sort of just like, you know, you're going to have the kids for 15 hours a day, so they're going to need to eat, and we're going to need groceries, and you're going to need gas, so here's the card. And yeah, I tried to be careful with it, but my version of careful on a credit card was a little different from theirs, so I think it worked out fine.
Steph, who is that magnificent creature and very calm creature just over your shoulder there on the bed?
That is Burger. I did have the screen blurred, but the producer thought we might want to see Burger, but he doesn't.
Obviously, we want to see Burger. Impeccably named as well, if you'll allow me. Great name for a dog.
Gorgeous. Stephanie, thank you. It's a fascinating look inside of New York's elite. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you so much.
So the book, Wanted, Toddler's Personal Assistant, comes out in October. Links to pre-order over on our website.